meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order, provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, and the Governor's March 15th order, 2020, order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Burlington Conservation Commission is being conducted through remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress by tuning into the BCAT Government Access Cable channel or the BCAT Government Meetings Facebook Live feeding, or you can join the meeting over the phone at 408-418-9388. And the meeting number is 129-498-4266. To join the WebEx Live video conference, click on the link on the Conservation Commission meetings page or the Town of Burlington Town Calendar. Click on Conservation Commission meeting under June 11th, and you'll see the link on the agenda. Or go to webex.com and join a meeting. Hit that tab, and the meeting number again is 129-498-4266. I'm not going to try to repeat the password, but Eileen is showing it and sharing it on the computer right now. You might want to look up for one more minute so someone can note it down if they want to do that. New public hearings tonight will not normally be closed, so comments from those who are unable to access or uncomfortable with the technology. Comments and concerns regarding public hearings should be emailed to conservation@burlington.org before the next meeting on June 25th. Okay. So, and hang on a second here. We have, all right. So in a minute, I will call the roll call by person and signify by saying aye. I will ask applicants to introduce themselves, unmute themselves, and then introduce themselves. And they usually have the first say, a few words. And then we have, if you would like to send a message, you can do that. I assume Eileen or John will help us monitor whether someone has sent a message on the chat feature, or also a feature under participants to raise hand. And hopefully someone will recognize that you've done that. All votes will be by voice, individual roll call. And I should note that the meeting is recorded. So the first item.
Larry,
Yes.
you want to just quickly announce what's not going to be heard tonight?
Yeah, I was going to introduce and then do that right afterwards.
Okay.
The commissioners. But thank you for reminding me. Don Bernstein, are you here?
Aye.
Gail Lima.
Present.
Indra Deb.
Here.
Bill Boyven.
I'm here.
Ed Luturco.
Here.
Jennifer O'Riordan, she is not here. Kent Moffett.
Here.
Thank you, Kent. Our administrator, John Keeley.
Here.
Our assistant administrator, Eileen Coleman.
Here.
And myself as the chair, Larry Cohen, is present as well. All right, now to the agenda. Let's see what we have here. We have, as far as I know, we are going to have open the hearing on the Redmond Street roadway and continue it. That's item number 7. We're going to open the public hearing on 4 Redmond Street by Somerset Realty Trust to construct a new single-family dwelling. And again, we will open it and we will continue it. And both hearings will be continued until June 25th. Item number 9 is similar. It is a public hearing, notice of intent, 5 Redmond Street by Somerset Realty Trust. And that one will be, again, opened, but will be continued. There will be no testimony during the public hearing for this. First testimony will be on June 25th.
Larry, we also have a request to continue 127 Lexington Street. Bedford
Okay.
Street, 127 Bedford Street, I'm sorry.
Okay, so 120, item number 12 is a continued public hearing, and 127 Bedford Street, and it will be also be continued till, I assume, John? June
Item
20
number 8. Right, item number 8.
No, item number 8 on the hearing notice says for Redmond Street.
No, you don't have the right agenda then, Larry. You don't have the revised agenda?
There is a
Oh.
revised agenda, yes.
Oh, there is. All right, you want
I
to
re-
send it to me? And
I
I will.
resent it today.
Oh. Okay.
I got it.
Okay, so please just give me a minute and I will have it.
Yeah, I also got it.
Okay. Okay, let's see. But you know what time you sent it, John? Oh, here it is. I got it. All right. Okay, I have it. If people will, 1 minute, I will just, I'm printing now.
We can go ahead with this time, Larry, while we're waiting for the printer.
Yeah, okay, hang on. Okay.
Meeting minutes.
Well, all right, it's coming up now. All right, the first item is citizens' time on the agenda. Is there anyone who is online through one of the many means who would like to say something? Okay, got it. All right, so the record should show that there is no one here for citizens' time. All right, the next item on the agenda is approval of minutes, May 28th. Anyone would like to discuss them? If not, please could I have a motion to approve the minutes, May 28th?
So moved. This is Gail.
Second, this is Bill.
All right, any discussion? No? All right, roll call. Don, how do you vote on approval of minutes?
Approved.
All right. Gail?
Who?
Gail?
Yes, I approve.
Indra?
Approved.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay. 600. Okay. The next item on the agenda, okay, is item 4. It's a request for a certificate of compliance and a release of surety for 52 Beaver Brook Road. Okay. And it's DEP for file number 122-562. Is there anyone online for this?
Hi, good evening. Yeah, it's Andrew and Kerry Byrne, Kerry Barbados.
Okay, very good. Nice to see you.
Good evening.
All right. So, John, would you want to take the lead on this?
Sure. Sure, I will. So this was a project for a single-family addition to the rear of the property.
Sure.
Wetlands right behind the property. The existing lawn was mowed up to the edge of the wetlands. So as part of this project, they actually created a 10-foot no disturb. They've put in a fence. That 10-foot restoration area is grown in nicely. The project looks good, and I have no issues.
All right. And let's go to commissioners. Do any of the commissioners have any further issue with granting the certificate of compliance for 52 Beaverbrook? Or is there any issues to discuss?
I did a drive-by. I just couldn't see the location of the fence in the rear of the property because of the solid fence in the front. So it was in the correct location, John? Okay.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. I don't hear anything else. Could I have a motion to approve the certificate of compliance for 52 Beaver Brook Road, DEP file number 122-562?
So moved, Gail.
Second, Indra.
All right. Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed? Ed?
Yes.
Thank you, and the chair votes yes. Unanimous, 600. How much bond was on this?
The bond was $5,000. I'd recommend the entire amount be released.
All right. Could I have a motion to release the entire amount of the bond for 52 Beaverbrook Road, DEP file number 122-562?
So moved. Bill.
Second?
Second, Indra.
All right. Is there any discussion on this or any issues relative to release the full amount of the bond? All right, Dawn, how do you vote?
Approve.
Gail?
In favor.
Indra?
Yes, in favor of.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Again, we have 600 unanimous. Okay, so folks, you're all set. That was rather painless. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. Feel free to join us anytime you want entertainment.
Thank you.
Maybe if you can't sleep, I don't know which is for. All right, nice to see you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. The next one is item 4B, is request for certificate of compliance and release of surety, 10 and 20 Corporate Drive. This is Burlington Center 20 Corporation Owner LLC, DEP file number 122-576. All right, somebody here for that one?
Yes, Nate Cheel with Tetra Tech. I'm the civil engineer for the project.
All right, nice to see you. Thanks
Nice
for
to see you
tuning in.
guys.
All right, so I think in this one we'll start with either Eileen or John and give us a summary. And there were a few things that needed attention, I gathered, so maybe you could address that.
Okay, so this is a apartment building that you're all well aware of on 20 Corporate Drive. The filing said 1020 because there was some work on 10, but the building itself is number 20. The work is done. So this was a 40B project, so it was filed under the Wetlands Protection Act only, not under the bylaw. But as you recall, they did comply with our setbacks for vernal pool or under the bylaw, even though the Wetland Protection Act doesn't have setbacks like that. So they worked with us on that. The project is pretty much done. Eileen and I did walk it today, and there's a couple of minor issues. There's some places where the sod needs to be extended a little, and the silt fence in the back wasn't removed. It was just sort of covered over with the mulch. It really should come out of there. It won't decay. And a couple places where there was some debris. Nothing minor. All in all, it looks pretty good.
So, John, were there any plantings or anything that I thought I read something, some of them didn't make it?
Yeah, some of them didn't make it. I think the intent in that area, though, is for it to become naturalized. There's really no way to access it. So I think it's just going to basically grow pretty wild in there anyway, and natural vegetation will just spread in there. So the plantings, The plantings, I'm not really sure how well they'll do. It's a very shady area because the building's tall and there's woods nearby. There's not a lot of sun that gets in there. So I suspect that more shade tolerant plants will sort of creep in from the woods.
Okay. Let me ask if anybody has any questions. We have Dawn. Do you have any questions?
No, not at this time.
Gail?
So I just wanted to ask Dawn or Eileen, has the issue with the curbing been resolved? I mean, they were supposed to put in one type of curbing to allow for the movement of amphibians, and something about having to be milled down. Is that adequate? What was done?
So that was the biologist's response. I'm not really sure what he was talking about because the curbing is all bituminous. It's not vertical anywhere in the crossing area. So I think it's fine. I'm not really sure where he was referring to, but I think what's out there is fine.
Okay, thanks.
Indra, anything?
Nope.
Bill?
I had a couple of comments on the conservation restriction. Is this the time to bring that up, or would that be a separate topic?
That's part of this project. It was all approved and recorded.
Okay. Is this standard text that's in this, John, or is this specific to this thing? Because I'm noticing things in there that say that they reserve the right to do things like remove plants and composting, which sounds to me like they have permission to dump their leaves in there and stuff like that. So I'm a little concerned with the wording, and not all of the items in the reservations say with prior approval of the grantee. So I'm not sure if that's standard verbiage or something.
It's been a while since I looked at that. I think we all looked at it and approved it. The Conservation Commission signed off on it.
Okay.
I signed it. The selectmen signed it. It's recorded. So.
All right. So that should be sailed.
But they're not going to be dumping anything back there. The area is really pretty inaccessible.
Yeah.
You have to scramble down a big riprap wall to get down there. I wouldn't be concerned.
And there was no access at all from the rear of the building?
No.
No.
I didn't see any doors. If there are, it's not for the residents, certainly.
Okay.
No.
Very good.
Any comments?
That's all I have.
Okay, Ed? Comments?
No comment.
All right, Kent, any comments?
Nope, no comments.
All right. One question, John, I had. Is any of the plantings that didn't make it necessary for habitat value at all, or you think it's fine the way it is?
No, I think it's fine the way it is. I mean, the plantings were sort of widely spread out, but I really suspect that even if none of them survived, I think the area will be fine. It's just, just from seeds from the adjacent woods, the area will be well vegetated.
Okay. All right. Then if there's nothing further, we have, could I have a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 10 and 20 Cooper Drive, Burlington Central 20 Corporation, DEP file number 122-6.
So moved, Bill.
He did.
Okay, who's the second?
Second
Okay, that
is
was-
Ed.
All right. Call. Dawn, how do you vote?
Approve.
Gail?
Moved.
Indra?
Approve.
Bill?
Approved.
Ed?
Approved.
Okay, chair votes yes, 600, unanimous vote. All right, next is how much is the bond?
So once again, there was no bylaw filing, so there was no bond.
Oh, all right. So there's nothing further to do on this.
Correct.
All right, sir, I guess we're all set for this item.
All right. Thank you, folks. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.
Okay. All right, so. All right, next we are on a request for determination. notice is hereby given that the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a virtual public meeting, and this will be which request for determination of applicability was filed by Mr. Thomas Crocker. The commission will take information related to the proposed installation of above-ground pool within 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands. This project is located at 9 Marjorie Road, and we will thereafter issue a determination. The application is being heard pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and and you may get a copy of the application by emailing conservation@burlington.org. Okay, is there someone here for this project at 9 Marjorie Road?
It doesn't look like it.
Okay. Eileen, would you like to say a few words about what they
Sure,
did?
I can. This came across our desks because all pool applications kind of go through us now, which is a good thing. So at first look, it looks like there's, you guys might remember, since we've done a lot of projects in Marjorie, there's a channel that runs behind a lot of those houses, and it looks like there's an extensive wetland associated with it. But when we went on the property, okay.
Is there a reason to hold up this proceeding at all?
I don't think so. I'll just get him to
Just
clear.
to remove it.
Yeah.
All right, Kent, any comment on it?
No.
All right, okay, chair has no comment. You have a decision, negative condition determination.
We do. Do you want me to go through it?
Please do.
Okay, I'll just share it. Hang on. So you can see it if you want to. So as we described, this was for a pool, a 15 by 30 foot above ground pool in the rear yard of 9 Marjorie Road. Staff visited the property. Property determined the proposed pool installation would not detrimentally impact the wetland on the property and allowed the applicant to accept an installation date before the meeting, should that become available. The work was located approximately 30 to 40 feet from the wetland. You're not approving the exact boundaries of the wetland. And then the conditions were, a lot of them were kind of moot because it was a very quick afternoon's job. All construction materials shall be excavated, soil should be disposed of offsite in a legal manner. So that's, I think, the most important one here. I'll make sure that happens tomorrow. No filling or grading of the property. And I'll remind him that he shouldn't be using pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides, and should not be dumping debris, sediment, or lawn clippings into the wetlands. Okay.
All right, does anyone on the commission or associate commission have any comments whatsoever on this one? All right, could I have a motion to issue a negative conditional determination for the project at 9 Marjorie Road?
Zed, so moved.
Second?
Second, Gail.
All right, Don, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Decision is 6-0-0, unanimous. All right, is there anything further on this, Eileen?
No, there's none.
All right, let's move to item 6 on the agenda. Notice is given that the commission will hold a virtual public hearing on June 11th. The purpose of the public hearing is to take all information related to an erosion and sedimentation control permit application filed by the Town of Burlington DPW Engineering Division. It is for the construction of a parking lot at 61 Center Street, which is the Human Services Building. The application is being heard pursuant to Burlington 14, Section 6. The commission, for all information relative to the application, and thereafter may issue an erosion and sedimentation control permit for the proposed activities. Again, you may obtain a copy of this particular application at email conservation@burlington.org. All right, do we have someone from the DPW Engineering Division here?
Yes, we do.
All right, please.
Yes,
Introduce
Tim is
yourself.
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick PowerPoint if you want. This is a phase 2 of the project, which we presented probably, I don't know, 2 months ago. If you want, I could run through the project. It's kind of dovetailed together, so it might give you a better idea of the overall project.
Sure. Your PowerPoints are usually well worth watching.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to share this with you real quick.
Sure.
All right, can everyone see this presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so originally this was the planning board presentation for the overall projects, these 2 projects, and then we kind of recycle it through all the other boards. It was for both the Human Services Building and the Marshall Simons Middle School, but we're just going to run through the Human Services Building. I'll be brief. This is the location right here. It's on Center Street in Burlington, and if we zoom in, you can see the assessor maps, and the highlighted parcel is the Human Services Building. We'll zoom in a little closer, and we'll turn on the aerials so you can see here's the building. We have the parks out back, the ball fields. Phase 1 is right here on the ring road, and phase 2 is the back parking lot, the back and portion of the side. So zoom in a little closer, and we'll rotate it so that we'll line it up with the plans that were submitted to the commission. This is the overall project here. We'll zoom in first on phase 1. This is currently ongoing. We're still waiting for a storm scepter, so the work has stalled a little bit until it's going to take weeks to get fabricated, so it's kind of on hold till we get that done. So this is phase 1. So phase 1, existing conditions. We have a ring road that runs in front of the Human Services Building. What we are doing is we're going to remove all that pavement highlighted in green, and then we're going to remove some of this grass here that's highlighted in brown, and then we're going to pave it. So it's going to look like this. This is the new configuration with the striping. So some of the highlights, we have a center entrance, which is 2-way, and we do that because we have 3 facilities now going into 1 parking lot, and it's to avoid confusion and conflicts between vehicles and pedestrians. We thought it'd be a lot safer to have 1 entrance, 1 exit. The next, we're adding a lot of pedestrian accommodations, new crosswalks, new sidewalks, all concrete and granite, fully HP compliant. We have some lighting, putting in fully compliant stormwater system, deep sump catch basin, storm scepter connecting to the existing system. And then we're going to replace a couple trees so that it's consistent with the front of the building. So we have trees spaced out evenly along the front there. So next we are going, that was phase 1. So phase 2, which we were planning on doing next year, is we decided to accelerate it because right now the facility is pretty much closed to the public. So it's a perfect time to do it all together and get it done without disrupting folks next year. So this is the phase 2 section of the resurfacing. And this is pretty much a simple resurfacing. The only thing is we are removing some pavement to create some more grassy area, less impervious. And that has several benefits. First of all, we can reduce the aisle width. Right now, the aisle width out there is in excess of 30 feet, and people race up and down. So we want to close it down to something that's a consistent aisle width, slow people down, and also allow pedestrians to get across the aisle a little bit quicker. We are adding this island. It's a raised island, and the reason we're putting this island in is because this is the entrance for the office. And a lot of times folks come down here and they cut the corner and people almost get clipped coming out of the building. So at the request of the rec, we're putting this island in. It's a raised island, so people now have to make a wide turn around and prevent that conflict with the pedestrians right there. And then we're adding, well, not really adding lighting. We're moving the lighting because right now the lighting is placed within parking spots. So we're going to put it in a place where we can gain extra parking and it's not going to be in the way. And these are all the benefits we have. We're gaining 20 extra spaces. We are providing a slew of HP and pedestrian accommodations. And we are also putting in a fully compliant stormwater system and reducing the impervious of about 400 square feet. And with that, Tim and I are here to answer any questions. Tim is the project designer So he is probably the best guy to answer any questions about the specific design and the construction. But we're both here to answer anything you have.
So, Tom, just to clarify, we are here for phase 2, the area in back. Is that correct?
Correct. Phase 2.
Okay. Just want to make sure, even though you presented the whole project overall.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. Good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
John or Eileen, either one of you like to make some comments?
Well, just say that, so as Tom said, they're actually shaving off something like 2,400 square feet of impervious and replacing that with grass. So that's an improvement in my eyes. It's not near any resource areas. It's at the back of an existing building where I actually have my office at the moment. So I'll be inconvenienced, but that's okay. I don't really have any other comments to make other than that. Maybe Tim will say something more about the drainage, because I think my understanding was that it wasn't changing in the back.
Yeah, there's existing drain system already.
Right, so the improvements were really at the front for this one portion.
And the both basins that are out there, one has a deep sump and the other one has a sump, even though it's not a 4-foot sump. But probably, what do you think, Tim? Maybe 2-foot sump on it?
Yeah, I measured down like 2 feet, but it could be cleaned out more, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see about questions from the commission. Again, I'll start with Don. Do you have any questions?
No questions.
Gail.
No questions.
Indra.
Nope.
Bill.
Just one, the little raised island you're putting in, is that going to be planted at all? Or is that just a hardscape?
Didn't plan on planting anything
Okay,
there.
I was actually going to suggest that you don't, because if it was, it could grow and obstruct the view from people stepping out of the building. So,
Exactly,
okay.
yes, yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Ed.
No comment.
Kent.
No comment.
All right. One question, Tom, or any others who are here. Or why wouldn't you change that one catch basin to a 4-foot sump? And doesn't it enhance removal somewhat? Wouldn't that be worthwhile, or does that create a lot of extra work?
Well, we measured down and it had a sump on it, so we thought it would be adequate. I think Tim measured down about 2 feet. Maybe when we clean the basin out, we might get a few more inches. I think it's just a cost. If it was a block basin that had no sump, we would definitely want to put a sump in it. If this is something the commission really wants, we can add it to the project. It's not really a deal breaker. It's just adding expense at a time.
Okay. Would anybody like to contribute to this discussion? Please state your name first.
This is Bill. Well, this is the time to do it if we're ever going to get it done, because the parking lot is being completely worked over. So I would suggest that we actually do the sump work.
This is Indra. I also agree with Bill. I think this is the time, and price-wise or cost, it's not that much of a difference probably. So I think this is the right time to do it, and that enhance the drainage system.
Okay. Anyone else? Kent, Dawn, Gail, or Ed?
Nope. This is it.
All right. So what's the will of the commission? Is there any consensus on this? I've heard 1, 2. I think it's important to do. Gail, you have a comment? You're muted, Gail.
I didn't add anything because I was just in agreement, so that I had nothing new to add. But I agree that that if they're going to make changes and the system can be improved, that'd be a good thing.
All right. So, Mr. Hayes, could we get on request from the Conservation Commission, could we get you folks to incorporate that one change into the project?
Absolutely.
All right, good. Thank you very much. The record will show we have you on tape.
Have I let you down? Have I let you down yet?
No, you haven't. You're doing fine. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
All right. So, are we in a position, Eileen, you have a draft? It doesn't sound like there's any issues.
I do have a draft and I can go through it. I will probably have to just add something to the effect that they will change that one basin, but I can do that if we agree on some words. I'll share the document and go through it.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. It's all ready to go. So let's see. Conditions referenced below are best management practices necessary to protect the stormwater system. Then just onto the findings. An erosion sedimentation control bylaw application was filed for construction of a parking lot at 61 Centre Street. This includes reclaiming of existing driveways, installation of granite curb and concrete sidewalks, lighting, new bituminous driveway and parking lot. The project will also include two new deep sump catch basins. I think that's really in the front, and a storm scepter for stormwater erosion and sedimentation control. The project will disturb approximately 49,400 square feet with a reduction of approximately 2,455 square feet in impervious area. Went through the filing history. The applicant has indicated that the project meets the stormwater standards to the maximum extent practicable. Standard 1, that it will not create any new untreated discharges. Standard 2, peak discharges are not expected to increase. Oops, I went too fast. Standard 3, there will be an increase in recharge to the maximum extent practicable. Standard 4, TSS removal will be increased to the maximum extent practicable. Standard 5, this is not, I can't remember what LUPL stands for. Area of high
pollutant loading.
Yes, that one, high pollutant loading. This is not a critical area. This is a redevelopment project. Standard 8, erosion controls will be implemented during construction. And Standard 9, the project owner will inspect the BMPs at the manufacturer's recommended intervals. And Standard 10, the project does not create any new illicit discharges. Then the conditions, we referenced the plan that they submitted. Any changes to those plans shall be submitted to the Conservation Department for review. We have the right to enter on the site just to inspect. A copy of this permit shall be provided to any person doing work and does not relieve the applicant from the responsibility to be in compliance with all other permits required. I'll just skip down to a few. The Conservation Commission shall be notified at least 1 week prior to the commencement of instruction for a pre-construction meeting, and at that time we'll go over erosion controls and whatever else would be needed for the construction process. Dumpsters will be brought to the site, no discharge or spillage of fuel, oil, or other pollutants. Cleaning of equipment shall not be permitted on the site. If visible evidence or an odor of hazardous substances is encountered, they shall notify the Conservation Commission and Board of Health. Applicant shall install erosion control barriers, including silt dikes or hay bales, on the pavement coincident with the limit of work on the property, and then shall notify department staff on erosion controls, and if applicable, limit of work vents are installed so that they may be inspected. No other work may begin until those erosion control barriers are installed and inspected. We have reserved the right to require additional erosion controls. Disturbed areas shall be stabilized and revegetated within 30 days. There are a lot of conditions. Erosion runoff shall not be allowed into the streets of Burlington. Stockpiled only where located on the approved plan, and stockpiled materials should be covered with a tarp. Dewatering is not anticipated, but if needed, a plan shall be submitted to the Conservation Department. Grading shall be completed in such a way so as not to direct additional runoff onto the property of others. Sweeping where needed. Protection of catch basins with silt sacks shall be required on Centre Street. In fact, they're already there for the phase 1 of the project. And beginning on the first week in which exterior activity occurs, the applicant shall submit a written weekly report, and we're already receiving weekly reports for the phase 1. And the last two are sort of self-evident.
All right. Mr. Hayes, anything you'd like to discuss?
can you go on to a
Nope,
different?
that all looks good.
Like into
All right,
your
I know
tax law,
you've seen all these. I know you've seen all these things before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so okay, any discussion on the conditions from anyone?
Nope, but this is Bill. I just looked up what Lapole means because I was curious. I can never
I know
remember.
what it is. I just
What?
never remember it at the time.
Land uses with higher potential pollutant load.
Yes.
All right, that's the advantage of sitting here at your computer. All right, so if there's nothing, could I have a motion to issue an erosion and sedimentation control permit for phase 2 of the work at 61 Center Street under Burlington bylaw Article 14?
So moved. This is Indra.
So moved.
All right, we're getting too much feedback from people. You probably want to mute again. All right, did you make the motion, Indra?
This is Indra. So moved.
Is there a second, please?
Yeah, second.
All right, Dawn, how do you vote?
Approved.
Dale?
Favor?
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Approved.
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Vote is 6-0. It's unanimous. Good luck with the project, Mr. Hayes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the good presentation. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
All right. Now we seem to be on our 7. Okay, it's the continued public hearing for 150 Lexington Street, Arista Development LLC. It's construct a new Citizens Bank building on the parking lot of Kohl's. It's DEP file number 122
Couple minutes, right? Or just call back, or I can just put it on low. I can keep the meeting on.
Who's talking?
All right, hold on. Let me turn it back up.
Hey, Larry, I just muted everyone, so just unmute yourself.
All right, I'm unmuted. One here for this project would like to speak. 150 Lexington.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Attorney Mark Vaughn with a law firm of Reamer Bronstein here tonight representing the applicant. Pleased to be before you again. I know we've had an opportunity a couple of your prior meetings to proposal and make some changes to it based upon the input of the commission. I know we have our civil engineer, Phil Henry, who is here again virtually for the meeting tonight, along with Doug Benoit on behalf of Arista Development, the applicant. But I know I'm not going to regurgitate the project again. I know you're familiar with it, but this is the Citizens Bank proposal in the Kohl's parking lot. We did not want to close the hearing at your last meeting because we had not yet finished the process with the planning board. However, we did finish that process last week. The planning board did approve the special permit and the site plan approval. We had made some what I would call pretty modest modifications as it relates to Conservation Commission jurisdiction matters. I think for the planning board, they were significant modifications, but from the commission's perspective, I don't think that they were major in terms of the protection of the resource areas. But there were some tweaks that were made to address kind of the cut-through traffic issue based on input of the police safety officer, as well as some other aesthetic improvements in and around the building in terms of landscaping and the like. But what I thought might be helpful, Mr. Chairman, is if I could have Phil Henry just maybe quickly, summarize what those changes were. I thought that might be helpful.
That would be great. Thank you. Please do.
All right. Can everybody hear me? This is Phil Henry with Civil Design Group. How are you?
Good to see you.
Excellent. So yeah, as Mark had indicated, much of the minor revisions that we recently incorporated were mostly related to traffic or site circulation or pedestrian access. And I'm happy to run through that. We also did add some landscaping at opportunistic areas, particularly along Lexington Street. So do you, Mr. Chairman, do you want me to go through each particular item? There's about 11 of them. I'm happy to do that. I don't know if it's all particularly pertains to your jurisdiction or interest, but I'm happy to go through them.
I think we would be interested in changes to the configuration of the plan and those changes which are related to the details of how close to resource areas you are working or enhancements to green space and so forth.
Sure, excellent. Is there an opportunity to bring up the plan, Eileen, perhaps?
Yes, I can do that. Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Then let me just I'll open the plan set and then I will share it because that seemed to work better. Okay. And you can tell me which sheet you want me to go on to.
Sure. Why don't you go to the overall site plan? We can work off of that, and then I think that's sheet 4.
4? Yeah, I know which one it is. Okay, there we go. Let me zoom in now. I'm on the right place. Oh, hang on. Let me make this bigger. If you want to start talking, I'll try and figure out how to zoom in on my Google.
Sure. So the first site modification was we added two speed humps along the northerly driveway that's abutting the wetlands, actually. So you could see just along the north is at the top of the page. Yep, that we introduced two speed humps there, and if you move east, Eileen, you'll see the other speed hump right there. That was to really discourage any traffic flow at sort of high speeds, if you will, anything probably exceeding 15 miles an hour. It actually is not we agreed with the planning board, or the planning board agreed with us that due to the fact that we cannot prohibit cut-through traffic, we're actually enhancing the maneuver by keeping it along the north side of the site as to reintroducing it or introducing it into the parking lot itself. So, however, with that being said, we still wanted to try to curtail the speed at which that maneuver would be done. So we did implement those two speed humps, but the limit of the curb has remained unchanged from when you last saw it.
Okay.
Number 2 is we added a similar speed hump at the vehicular entry of the drive-through. So that is down at the corner of Lexington and Burlington Mall Road. Right where move your cursor left, Eileen. Right. Yeah, exactly. There's a similar speed hump there. The only change or difference from the other two speed humps is that there's a crosswalk traversing the top of it as well. So it's also a pedestrian maneuver as well. We added crosswalks we added a number of crosswalks, most notably one at the exiting part of the drive-through. So if you go to the other end of that drive-through, Eileen, there's a crosswalk there. Yep, we introduced a crosswalk there, as well as a crosswalk over the existing curb cuts on Lexington Street and Burlington Mall Road.
Here, I guess.
We added stop signs at all on-site intersections and existing curb cuts. So our original plan had, I guess, 80% of it, 80% of the intersections at a stop condition. We supplemented the rest of it with stop conditions as well. Although I will mention that the planning board closed the hearings with some minor plan modifications, mostly related to some additional signage. So as I had indicated in my email to Eileen, once we get those conditions from the planning board, I anticipate updating the plan one more time to include any plan-related items from the planning board as well as from this commission as well. We also called for the restriping of all the existing stop lines and stop bars just to be refreshed so that at the end of the project, all the pavement lettering and striping will look the same. We eliminated the arborvitae around the remote ATM, mainly due to security purposes. However, we've reintroduced some low-lying shrubbery in between the drive-through lane and Lexington Street, rhododendrons and some hues that are used that would restrict headlight traffic, but not be one that somebody could hide beneath or around. We also called for, as part of this project, as you would imagine, we're removing some landscape islands internal to the parking lot to make room for that, for the bank. And in doing so, we're going to be removing 7 existing trees. At the request of the planning board, they had asked us to, instead of removing those trees, let's transplant those trees. So we have a note on the plan to say at the start of construction, we are going to be meeting on site at a pre-construction meeting, and we're going to be deciding at that meeting where to transplant those 7 trees. So I thought that was a good, and it's likely that those transplanted areas will be along the northern part of the site because that's what's not going to be touched during the construction. And then we also, the last thing we did was we extended a sidewalk between the 2 crosswalks on Lexington Street curb cut and the curb cut that is at the end of the ATM drive-through. We just connected. We introduced a new sidewalk connecting that just to further enhance pedestrian safety and give anyone walking to the site 2 options now to access the bank and the Kohl's building. And that's it. That is the summary of our minor site plan changes.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see if any of the commissioners or our administrative staff has any comments. First, I'll go to John or Eileen. Do you have any comments on either what was said or previous issues or remaining issues?
I think you're muted, Eileen.
Sorry about that. I have 1 question and 1 comment, if that's okay, Phil. So you said that some trees are going to be transplanted and possibly up to that northern area. Are they all native trees? Are they going to be appropriate in that spot?
That I don't know. They're the existing trees that were recently blooming when we were out on site. I didn't know them. I don't know the species by name.
They're probably Bradford pears, which are not appropriate.
Right.
Okay.
So, but my other comment is that on that plan, and the one that I was just sharing, you've marked a few spots for snow storage. And we do have a concern with the one that's at the northernmost spot because we just feel like snow is just going to get pushed over the guardrail. So can you maybe just eliminate that one or move it just somewhere else on the lot?
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. I think there's some folks from citizens there. What we did was we asked Kohl's or the folks that currently maintain that parcel today how they manage snow, and that's an area that they've been giving us. So let's have that discussion. I guess I would defer to other members of the team for that.
Hi, this is Samantha Bergner from Citizens Bank. We are working on a tri-party agreement for the maintenance of this property with both Kohl's and RK Centers, who's a property owner. So right now we did note what is existing, but we can definitely revise those according to what would be appropriate for the site as we work through that agreement, and confirm that for the maintenance plan moving forward.
Okay, let me just share for 1 second, just so you can see just what I mean. The only issue is with, this one here. Can you see it? Because it's going to end up getting pushed here towards the wetland and towards the stream. This one is fine. This fine, and I know you've got something up here at Coles. That was the only issue, just that one.
Okay, perfect. Yes, we will definitely look into that with Coles as part of the tri-party agreement. I think that would also be a reasonable one to move as well because of that 2-lane road that's now being put in. So we will definitely address that as we work through that with them.
Okay.
And we could also, we'll keep in mind at the pre-construction meeting, when we discuss where those trees to be transplanted, we can focus them more towards the street.
This is Doug from Arista. Maybe we should have Eileen attend that meeting.
Either Eileen or John will probably.
Oh, John. Right.
John's better with trees. But yeah, one of us can definitely be there for that. Yeah, contact us and we'll do something.
Okay, Eileen, are there any other issues with the project as it stands?
I don't think so. John might jump in, but I don't think we had any other issues other than those two just minor things that sort of jumped out today. Oh, well,
right.
one we saw on the plan and the other one you just mentioned now.
All right. John, anything?
I think he was okay with it. Something seems to be wrong with his connection. He's got a little... We can move forward.
All right. Maybe he muted himself.
No, he's got a little triangle thing in the corner, so I think there might be something wrong.
No, I see he muted himself.
I think that's just he's the host. I think he just shut his camera off for a moment.
All right. He'll find a way back to us, I'm sure, at some point. Gail, did you have something to add?
Yeah, so just in terms of looking at the landscape plan, with kind of conditions as they are, and they seem to continue to be, and rainfall patterns, it would really be nice if the landscaping was thought a little bit more in terms of landscaping that didn't need a lot of water. There's a lot of grass around the building. That could be landscaped with kind of, ornamental native grasses that wouldn't have to be mowed, that didn't need any water and would look a lot nice and would be, kind of a contribution to say, hey, I'm a good community member. I'm aware that water resources are scarce. I'm not planting things that have a high water demand.
Okay. Are you, Gail, are you suggesting they submit some kind of a concept plan for doing that and that we take a look at it, or?
No, I don't need a plan. I just think that, they can work with the office. The office, has lists of native plants. There are plenty of types of plants, whether it's low-growing shrubs, ground cover, native ornamental grasses or sedges that look very nice. People landscape with them, but it's not your, typical green grass that needs, that can have sprinklers that are going off twice a day, watering grass, watering the parking lot, like we see at a lot of commercial places. And also, long term, it might even be less upkeep for them because they might need a landscaper to come in maybe, a few times a year to just deal with the plants, but you wouldn't need people mowing and so forth.
Gail, this is Mark. Are you talking in and around the building area where the new bank building is for the most part?
I would, yeah, you mean any of the green spaces that have lawn, it would be nice to kind of reconsider that. It's just really frustrating to see when you drive into the various office complexes and things, the sprinklers going on all times of day and largely watering parking lots and asphalt and as well as the grass. Even though some of these places have access to well water, that still accesses the groundwater, and it's something that I think everybody in Burlington, residential and commercial, could do a better job with.
Okay. Do the folks have any comment on that? Phil, Mr. Henry, or Mark?
Yeah, I think it's my opinion. I'll defer to the team, but I think it's a reasonable request, and we can work with Eileen on reducing the grassed area. I think there's perhaps some combination that we can reduce the grass area, maybe or keeping some of it, and then reintroducing some more native shrubbery that is less water dependent.
How about some drought resistant grass?
You know, I think the problem is when places plant grass, they have sprinklers going off every single day, whether it's drought resistant or not.
All right, so let's move on. I think they heard you and said I think they said they were going to take a look at it. Don, do you have anything?
No, not at this time.
Indra, anything?
No, nothing else.
Bill?
No, nothing further.
Ed? Ed will join us in.
Left for a moment. He's coming back now.
Okay, Ed, anything further on 150 Lexington Street? All right, Kent, anything?
No, nothing.
Okay. So I had one question. Eileen, are we essentially saying that since they're working on the maintenance plan, that they will submit to conservation a snow removal plan when that is worked out as part of their discussions?
They have actually, when they resubmitted the operations and maintenance, there's an operations and maintenance plan as part of their stormwater plan, and that does include snow storage specifications now.
Are we all set with that then?
Yes.
All right. And if the current trees are not, I'm asking the applicant now, if the current trees are not suitable for planting on the edge there for transplantation because they're not suitable for that area, could we, and Eileen, you can comment, could we get some plants in that area that are suitable? Perhaps some trees that would enhance the area?
Do you mean that northern portion? That we do have conditions about that. So as we said earlier, we can agree to meet on the site and see if there's a more suitable location for the 7 that the planning board would like relocated. But yes, we have drafted conditions about that spot. Yeah.
All right. And for the 7 trees that are being relocated, if any of them fail, would the applicant commit to replacing those? Well, because sometimes transplantations don't work so well. I think that's to Mr. Henry.
That seems reasonable.
Phil, this is Samantha Bergner from Citizens. I think that's a reasonable request, and we can confirm that we will monitor those and replace them.
That would be great. Thank you for that. All right, that's all I have. So, Eileen, do we have a decision now to look at?
We do. I will share that and go through it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And Eileen, while you're putting that up, so I have just a logistical question. So Eileen has referenced plans in the decision, and Phil, you're changing the plans. So should we hold off on actually issuing this order until we have updated plan references?
John, let me ask you, do we know when the revised plans will be ready?
That's a question for Phil.
Yeah, we haven't received the planning board decision yet, which has the minor plan revisions. I guess I would, my thought is that they're going to be so minor and unrelated to, I guess, jurisdictional concerns that we can reference the plans that I had sent, but I will send other future plans that are related mostly to traffic concerns.
Okay, that's fine.
Or,
That's
John, can we hold the decision and until such time as the correct plan reference is available?
Well, you've got a statutory amount of time you're supposed to issue the decision. If the plan changes are that minor, I would just go with the plans we have then.
Okay. All right. Okay, Eileen, I guess please do the review.
Sorry, I was muted for a second there. Sorry about that. Can you guys see this, or do I have to reshare it?
We don't see anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stopped sharing when John spoke, and then I forgot to reshare. Here we go. It's coming up. Okay, we're starting with the order of conditions. So this is the whole list of drawings that John was referencing. I think we're going to go with the fact that these are as correct as they need to be for both the order and the bylaw. So I'll just skim through some of these because a lot of them are standard. You can slow me down if I'm going too fast, okay? A lot of these first ones are just standard. This order permits work within 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. There will be a pre-construction meeting and the applicant will give us 2 to 5 days business notice before commencing any activity on the site. I'm mostly just going to read the bolder ones. The proposed limit of work as defined by the plans shall be clearly marked with stakes, markers or flags or the required sediment barriers, and the limit of work in these areas shall be reviewed in the field with conservation staff prior to commencing work. The applicant shall meet with the conservation staff to review this order of conditions, and I'm going to suggest that perhaps at that time we could talk about where the trees might go. That might be more appropriate. And at the time, you're going to provide us with evidence that the order has been recorded, list the names and addresses of responsible people, photographs, dewatering plan, and surety as required in the bylaw decision that will have to be paid by then, and the DEP sign should be up with extra erosion controls. So at that time, erosion control shall be installed or replaced along the erosion control line as shown in the reference plan. Material shall not be stockpiled on the site within 50 feet of the wetlands. Sweep roadways each day. Don't let sediment get into either Lexington Street or Burlington Mall Road. The Conservation Commission reserves the right to require additional erosion controls or damage prevention if necessary. No additional grading beyond what's shown in the approved plan shall be permitted without specific permission. As standard, any debris that falls into the wetlands or streams shall be immediately removed by hand. And this condition shall be noted on the certificate of compliance as listing in perpetuity. I know that Larry has had an issue in particular with how much dumping there is in, over the embankment there. Spillage of oil shall be reported. No fueling within 50 feet of the stream. Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides shall not be used within 100 feet of the wetlands. And this condition shall be noted on the certificate of compliance as existing in perpetuity. Runoff from rooftop and driveway shall be managed as shown in approved plans. The applicant shall adhere to the operations and maintenance plan submitted as part of the stormwater management report for the existing stormwater management system and the proposed graded depression. Responsibility for the maintenance of these structures is with the property owner and any future property owners. And this condition shall be noted in perpetuity. The existing stormwater structure shall be inspected and cleaned per specifications at the end of construction and before the bank becomes operational. No rock salt shall be used on paved surfaces. The conservation shall not sign a perpetual grant of perpetual use of any one chemical for the site. Signs shall be posted stating that this is a no salt zone. You're in the riparian 2 Vine Brook there. This condition shall be noted in the certificate of compliance in perpetuity. The existing chain link fence at the northern side of the property shall be extended south by approximately 80 feet to help impede improvement of trash and debris. This demarcation shall be maintained in perpetuity and noted on the certificate of compliance. The area at the northeast of the property will be changed from impervious to pervious as parking spaces are moved. The area shall then be planted with native species, including trees, shrubs, and a native seed mix per the reference plan. This area should not be returned to impervious surface, and this condition shall be noted in the certificate of compliance as existing in perpetuity. A minimum of 2 native trees shall be planted in the newly restored area and a total of 20 native trees and shrubs, red maple and arborvitae, specified in the plans shall be planted across the property. I guess that leads me to a question. I think you had changed some of them for rhododendron and other plants. We might have to talk about their suitability. Conservation Department shall not sign for approval of the CO prior to extension of the fence and site stabilization. Okay, let me go on to the bylaw. Can you all still see this?
Yep.
Okay. So the findings is that a notice of intent wetland bylaw application was filed for construction of a 2,700 square foot building within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and within the riverfront area to Vine Brook. The filing history is the next part, and then the plan and document references are all exactly the same as were on the order of conditions, and we're leaving those as is. The proposed work was within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and within the 200-foot riverfront area to Vine Brook. The closest point of the proposed work was less than 20 feet from the BVW. Work occurring within or in close proximity to resource areas can generate adverse impacts to those areas. Location of the resource areas is shown on the reference plan. The Commission agrees with the depicted locations of these resources. A total of 4.616 acres of the project site is within the riverfront area, of which 2.8 acres will be altered. This is a redevelopment project, and the whole area to be altered is currently paved. The vegetated depression and landscaped area to the north of the bank will provide an additional 8,500 square feet approximately of pervious area, and the reclaimed area to be landscaped is all within the inner riparian. The Commission finds there is no practicable and substantially equivalent economic alternatives with less adverse impact. The addition of 8,500 square feet of pervious vegetated open space and the proposed plantings of native trees will provide an improvement to the riverfront area. In addition, the annual recharge for the post-development condition will exceed the annual recharge for the existing site, constituting an additional improvement. Stormwater management, they also showed that they meet the stormwater management regulations to the maximum extent practicable. I can go through these if you'd like, but one just to mention is that this project is in the Zone 2 wellhead area, and the project treats stormwater to the maximum extent practicable. This is a redevelopment project. A SWIP will be submitted before land disturbance begins, and the project owner will adhere to the operation and maintenance plan that they did submit. The permit under the bylaw may also serve as a permit under Burlington's Erosion and Sedimentation Control bylaw. So moving down to the standard, all the standard wording, no construction will take place on site until the installation of erosion controls is complete, and we describe the erosion controls. Use of pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides and other chemicals creates potential adverse impacts on adjacent sensitive areas, and the applicant will not be allowed to use chemicals within 100 feet of the resource area. And it's also saying that the the conditions in the order of conditions. I'm sorry. The Commission hereby grants conditional permission to the above noted applicant. Anyway, sorry. The conditions of the order of conditions also apply, and we're proposing in this case that a performance guarantee would be submitted in the form acceptable to the Conservation Commission in the amount of $10,000. And the rest is, again, pretty standard. Contractor shall be fined for any applicable non-compliance with these conditions, and the Conservation Commission shall not sign off on a temporary occupancy permit until the following conditions have been met. And permanent occupancy permits shall only be signed after the issuance of a certificate of compliance.
Okay, thank you, Eileen.
That was it.
Does the project team have any comments or need to discuss anything?
I don't think so, Mr. Chairman. I think that.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Relatively standard. That's fine.
Yeah. Mr. Vaughn, I suspect you've seen almost all of these before.
I have. So I am somewhat familiar with them. Right.
Okay. Right. I know you are. Okay. Let me ask the Commission. Dawn, anything further on this relative to the proposed permit?
No, no, not at this time.
Gail,
Nope.
Indra,
Nope.
Bill,
No.
Ed, Kent.
Not this time.
All right. My question is, Eileen, it was so fast, I couldn't quite determine. We came to an agreement with the project team that they were willing to do a substantial cleanup all along the length there. Is there wording to that effect that reflects that agreement? And is there a finding in the findings of the bylaw that reflects their concurrence to that and something in the order?
Let me go back to it. I'm not. Sorry, am I muted again?
No.
Oh no, I'm not muted. Sorry, I was just having a quick scroll through it again. Did I
Mr. Vaughn, I assume what I stated is correct. Is that
Yes.
correct?
And I'm surprised that our word isn't good enough. But no,
Yeah, but
well, condition number 39 does say any debris, sediment, or other materials shall be immediately removed by hand. But maybe we need to just beef that one up to say.
Well, I'd like to have explicit wording.
Oh no, sorry, wait a second. Oh no, yes, I will. I can change that to make that more explicit. Yeah.
The applicant shall, whatever. Maybe the project team can come up with the wording that would be very direct for us.
Mr. Chairman, Doug Benoit again. The overall site plan does have a shaded area with notes saying trash and debris cleanup area. So it's defined on the plans.
Okay.
Right,
just approximately what was the length of that area, and I'll just reference that as
It's the whole perimeter, the northern perimeter of the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just say something per plan 4 or something.
Well, I think we should just have some wording that states that the applicant shall clean up trash on both sides of the fence to help restore the habitat to a more natural looking aesthetics.
Eileen, I think if you go to sheet 4, we actually added a note that perhaps you could use as the condition itself.
Yeah, okay. I will see sheet 4 for wording. I've made that point. I made the note.
All right.
Yeah, so note 10 says contractor to clean up trash and debris from the back of curb line to the riverbank, including trash within the river's limits as shown on this plan.
I like that.
That's very good. Thank you, Mr. Henry. That's very helpful.
Yeah, so that's note 10.
Yep, got it.
All right. So that's all I have. If there's nothing further, we'll move on. Okay, so could I have a motion, therefore, to close the hearing on DEP file number 122-642?
So move, Bill.
Second?
Second, Indra.
All right. How do you vote on closing the hearing? Don?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed? Ed is absentia, apparently. Okay, so and the chair votes yes. So in lieu of hearing from Ed, that will be 5-0-1. That carries. Next, could I have a motion to approve the order of conditions under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for DEP file number 122-643?
So move, Scale.
Second?
Second, Bill.
All right, so we're approving the order of conditions under the state and the local bylaw. Dawn, how do you vote?
Approve.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
I'm here, yes.
All right, he's back. And the chair votes yes. That's 6-0 on that vote. That carries. Could I have a motion to approve the findings under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for DEP file number 122-642?
So moved, Bill.
Second, Gail.
Okay, second is Gail. All right, approving things under Burlington Bylaw Article 14. Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, carries 6-0. Could I have a motion to adopt a $10,000 performance surety requirement under Burlington Bylaw Article 14 for DEP file number 122-642?
So moved. Indra.
Okay,
Second,
second.
Ed.
All right.
Second, Ed.
Is there any question on this? Comments?
Nope.
All right, Dawn, how do you vote?
Approve.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That carries 6-0. Okay, folks, I think you're all set. Very much for working with us on this. Good luck with your project.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And
All right.
thank you,
you.
Eileen. Thanks, Eileen and John, for all the time. Working this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, John. Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Okay, we're on item, let's see where we are now. We are at item number 8 is being 127, again, was continued to June 20.
Larry, yes, June 25th. You should take a roll call vote to continue that hearing.
All right, could I have a motion to continue the hearing under Burlington Wetland Bylaw Permit for 127 Bedford Street for grading, landscaping, driveway extension, and buffer zone restoration? Is there a motion? And they continued until June 25th. Is there a motion?
Gail.
So move, Ed.
Okay. All right, how do you vote, Dawn?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 6-0. That carries. Okay, now we're on item 9. Okay, and we're going to open the hearing, and this one will be continued to the 25th. Notice is given, the Town of Burlington Conservation Commission will hold a virtual public hearing on June 11th. The purpose of the public hearing is to take all information related to a notice of intent filed by Somerset Realty. It is for the construction of a new roadway extension on Redmond Street in Burlington. The proposed work would be within bordering vegetative wetlands pursuant to Chapter 131, Section 40 and Burlington Bylaw Article 14. The commission will review information and thereafter may issue an order of conditions for the application. The application material is available in the Conservation Office and may be obtained by email by submitting an email request to conservation@burlington.org. John or Eileen, do I need a motion to continue to the 25th?
You do.
Okay, could I have a motion to continue that one on the Redmond Street roadway to the June 25th meeting?
So moved.
Ed.
Second? Someone second it. Indra, was that you?
No, I moved.
Tie.
I think it's happening.
I think somewhere in there was a second. Okay, so Dawn, how do you vote on the continuance?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 6-0. That's continued. Item number 9, no, item number 10. Okay. Notice is given, the commission will hold a virtual public hearing And the purpose of this one is a notice of intent filed again by Somerset Realty Trust for the construction of a new single-family dwelling at 4 Redmond Street. The proposed work would be within the 100-foot buffer zone to BBW, bordering vegetative wetland. And this is under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington Bylaw Article 14. The commission will be reviewing the application and may issue an order of conditions. The application material is available by email at Burlington at conservationburlington.org. Put in an email request. Okay, so do we need to do the same thing, John or Eileen, on this one?
You do.
All right. Could I have a motion to continue the project at 4, the application at 4 Redmond Street to June 25th meeting?
So moved. Ed.
Second. All right, Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail? Gail? Indra?
Yes.
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 Ed? Ed?
Yes.
Chair
Yes.
votes yes. Carry 600. All right, that one at 4 Redmond Street is continued until June 25th. All right, now we're on another public hearing. It's very similar. Notice is given. The commission will hold a virtual public hearing, during which time we have another notice of intent filed by some trust. This is for the construction of a new single-family dwelling at 5 Redmond Street in Burlington. The proposed work would be within the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering wetlands. It's being heard under the State Wetlands Protection Act and Burlington's Bylaw Article 14. And the commission, again, is going to review the information to issue an order of conditions. The application for this one is also available at the same email address, conservation@burlington.org. Could I have a motion to continue this project at 5 Redmond Street to the June 25th meeting?
So moved. Ed.
Second.
Second, Indra.
Okay. All right, Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gail? Gail? All right. I think you voted yes, Gail. Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Am I going too fast for you guys? Ed?
Yes.
The chair votes yes, that's 600. That carries. Project at 5 Redmond Street is continued till June 25th. All right, next. We're on item number 12. All right, let's move along to that one. Number 12, a notice is hereby given. We have given that the commission will hold a virtual public hearing. Will take information related to a notice of intent filed by Ming Liang, the demolition of a dwelling and the construction of a new single-family dwelling at 20 Stony Brook Road in Burlington. The proposed work would be within the 100 zone to bordering vegetative wetland pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, which is the State Wetlands Protection Act, and Burlington Bylaw, Article 14. Commission will review information relative to the application and may issue an order of conditions for that project. The application materials available to the public by emailing conservation@burlington.org. All right, is there someone here representing a project at 20? Mr. Dresser, are you here?
You need to unmute, Steve.
There I go again. What's going on?
Hear me now.
Who was speaking?
Steve Dresser.
Yes, we hear you now.
All right.
And we can see you too.
Uh-oh, I did that wrong then. For the record, Steve Dresser, Dresser Williamson Way, representing for you, DEP file number 122-163. The property is located at 20 Stony Brook in Burlington. The applicant proposes to demolish the existing home on the site and construct a new home with with proposed driveway and utilities associated with that. There is a bordering vegetated wetland at the rear of the property. The nearest point to the new house is 79.5 feet from the BVW, so we're pretty far away, but certainly within the area. The driveway is going to flow from Stony Brook Road, down toward the back. There is a 2x2 stone trench with a PVC pipe in it at the back end of the driveway that directs runoff to an infiltration system. Also, the roof gutter system will go into that infiltration system as well. We have done soil testing. We are 2 feet above the groundwater. There is a shed in the back. The wetlands, we will need to, we're proposing to go back there and tear that out. I need to put the straw wattles in around there, but that will be the only activity even within 40 feet of the BVW. So it's a pretty straightforward filing, I believe, and I'm glad to answer any questions.
Okay, that was brief. That's fine. Okay, Eileen or John, do you have comments relative to the resource area and any other issue?
John and I went out to take a look at it. I don't know if anybody else has had a chance to yet.
I have been out, Eileen. Yeah.
Okay, it's clearly a tear down. We unfortunately the wetland flags were gone or had been moved or something by the time we got there, so we can't approve that line. Somebody will just need to rehang those flags or just survey them on, or just let us know somehow. If indeed the shed is the only thing that is anywhere close to the wetlands, then that allays any of my concerns.
All right. Okay. Don, any issues you would like to discuss? Any topics?
No.
Gail.
No, I did look at we got a plan for this, right? Yeah, so I did look at it, and it seemed to be outside the well, within the 100-foot, but outside the kind of the buffer that we require. I was hoping that, Eileen, you could just put it up one more time, because for some reason I can't find it in my email.
Do you want to see the? Oh, looks like Steve is sharing it, but yeah, I was going to.
All right, awesome, thank you. Yep,
that's fine.
Is it up? I had something kind of come up.
Not yet. Oh, there you go. Yep.
There you go.
Can you maybe center it so it's on the proposed house part and enlarge that just a little bit, just so that we can see the setbacks, please? Thanks, that's great.
That's good.
Thank you. Larry, you can move on. I just wanted to refresh my memory of it.
Okay, thank you, Gail. Indra? Indra?
I said, how far is this from the wetland? I don't see where is the wetland. Oh.
The house itself is 79.5 feet from the wetland.
Okay, 79. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
All activity other than removal of the shed is outside of 40 feet.
Outside of 40 feet.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Bill, questions?
Just one. I see something that says existing driveway to be removed, but it's not clear to me where the new driveway will be located. Is it going to be in front of the house?
No, where it says existing driveway to be removed, it's kind of L shaped. So that'll be a side entry garage at the front of the house.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Ed?
I was out today. It's a pretty good sized lot. I have no comments.
All right, Kent?
No comment.
All right, I have,
Can I, Mr. Chairman, this is Indra. Can I ask
yes.
a question? How far is the storm take from the wetland, the distance?
Looks like a little over 50 feet, I would say, if there isn't a setback to it. I can put one on the plan, but just judging from where the 40-foot line is, I'd say in the 55-foot range.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right. And Gail, were you saying something?
Oh, I'm fine.
All right. Mr. Grassi, could you drop the picture down a little bit so I can see the top of the page, a little more of it? All right, that's perfect. Three topics to bring up. Mr. Dresser, is that perforated stone trench connected to the infiltrator? Is that what I see there?
Yes, yes.
And so that means the driveway and the house, the rain off of both of them both go to the infiltrator.
Small storms from the driveway, there's a foot of stone before it would get to that ultimately goes back there. So first flush type storms from the driveway would probably infiltrate right where the trench is. Larger storms would in fact overflow into the infiltration system.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. The second thing is, I don't know if this is for Mr. Dresser, but Eileen on the left with flag A is and 7A is where the wetland is. It looked to me like there was a lot of, when the flags have rehung, it looked to me like there was a lot of, there might be some filling of wetland there, that the wetland is pushed back because a lot of debris and stuff like that. I was going to ask when you take another look, if you would look at that, please. 7A, 6A.
Sure.
Okay, and if something needs to be restored, we should communicate that before the next meeting to the applicant if material has to be removed before the meeting. It's about it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the second issue. The third issue is Mr. Dresser, right around flag 1A, between 1A and 2. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a tree that had some of the bark removing that was at like a 30-degree angle, sort of heading into the next property. Do you remember that tree?
It's been a while since I've been there, to be honest with you, so I don't top of my head now.
Well,
I'll take your word for it.
Well, I'm wondering whether it looks like it's ready to come down, and I'm wondering whether that should be incorporated into the project to have that taken down if it's about to be coming down. So again, I'd like to ask maybe you, Mr. Dresser, to take a quick look at that. It's right around flag 1A-ish type of thing, between 1A and 2 maybe. You'll see it hang at a degree. It looks to me like a 30-degree angle. If I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll correct me. But when you see it. And then I'd like to ask Eileen and John to take another look at that area as well. I didn't see any appreciable filling because that was on the left side. On this side, it was just the tree that I thought might be an issue because it looked like it's sort of might be ready to come down.
Okay, we'll take a look too.
Yeah, and also, if it's not a danger, not to come down, and if it's something that maybe you just make a hanger rather than taking the whole tree down, because that would be a valuable thing to have in the wetland.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'd like some input from other than me who might want to take a look at that.
And also, a hanger would be better. And also, you don't want to be going in there with, rig and stuff, damaging the wetland. to remove the tree. If the tree has to come down, then and it probably should stay in place, the debris.
Yeah, folks should just take a look at it and let's talk about it. I'm just raising the issue.
There is. Were you talking about that big, large tree?
There's two trees right in that area to the right-hand side. One is a tall tree that looks fine, and the other is a large, skinny tree that goes up and bends to and then is leaning right from the beginning. And the bark is.
Yeah.
So perhaps folks could take a look at it, and maybe Mr. Dresser, you could also have a look at it so you know what we're talking about at the next meeting.
Will do. I'll do it.
Great, thank you, sir. All right, so that's all we have. Is there anyone else has remaining comments? Would like to, as I heard it, we're going to take a look at that tree. Eileen will take a look at the left-hand side, the wetlands for possible filling, or John will, and we're going to rehang the flags. And those are the three things that I heard. Is there anything else?
Larry, I do have one other issue. So typically on a project like this, we require a fence or some sort of demarcation, which isn't shown on the plan. And because of the wetland at the rear, the shape of it is so it's not perpendicular across the lot. It's fairly undulates. We may want to think about where we would like to see a fence placed.
Okay.
Rather than strictly following the 20-foot no disturb, which would be a weird-looking fence.
It certainly would, John. All right, so if folks can have a chance to take a look at this, that would be helpful before the next meeting.
I just have a question. I have a question for Mr. Dresser. I was just curious because when I got there, there was an environmental truck there. What was the condition of the inside of the house that they're tearing down that they would need to be almost like a hazmat thing?
They were doing the asbestos removal league.
Is that what it is? Asbestos? Okay. That's all I had.
Ed, that's an interesting point. When I was there was two guys. They weren't dressed up in any personnel protective equipment. I don't know. Hopefully they weren't removing asbestos the way they were dressed. And I saw a sign about asbestos, and I saw a little bit of caution tape. But I didn't see any space control for negative pressure or anything like that. So I don't know what they're doing.
I would guess they were probably
bagging
doing an
everything.
assessment then, because he wouldn't have his demo permit with.
Yeah. So you think it was an assessment?
They shouldn't. Without a demo permit, they shouldn't be doing removal. So that's probably what it was an assessment for asbestos.
I think they had very limited English skills. They seemed, I sensed that it was French they were speaking. So, not that means anything, but because of the language issue, I just couldn't get a lot out of them as far as what they were doing. It was there. Okay. So we have those 4 items. Is there anything else? So, Mr. Dresser, do you agree to continue to June 25th?
Yes, sir.
All right. Eileen, does he need to sign anything for the continuance?
My screen.
No, we have this recording. That's fine.
Sorry, I was muted. I was just saying no.
But you do need a roll call.
All right. So you mean a motion, John?
Correct.
All right. Could I have a motion to continue the project hearing at 20 Stony Brook Road to the June 25th meeting? Is there such a motion?
So moved, Dave.
Second?
Second, Gail.
All right, Dawn, how do you vote on the continuance?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, 600 carries. Mr. Dresser, hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You One of these days, we'll do it in person.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, me too. Okay, planning board comments, 10, and we're on 13A.
Nothing.
All right, subcommittee and staff reports and updates.
I have nothing.
Anyone else? As we've said numerous times, the next meeting is June 25th, but the next one after that is July 9th. John, do we want to vote a summer schedule? What do you think?
I'm fairly certain you already did. I think you voted the entire schedule for the year already, including the summer and November and December.
We did.
I think so. I'll check. I'm pretty sure we did.
Boy, are we efficient, John.
Try.
All right. Other business. Do we have anything else to come up?
Just on a report, this is Bill, that town meeting was held last night on the football field, and it was remarkably smooth. And the entire annual budget town meeting session was done by 9 o'clock. It was amazing. Of course, a great deal of the content had been postponed or withdrawn because of the economics, and it wasn't a good time to submit much. But it was very efficiently run, and people were very pleased with how smoothly it went.
All right, John, I have a question on something else. Have you been in, John or Eileen, have you been in any discussions on the Chandler Road property?
So no, we haven't. So it hasn't been filed yet. I know that they filed with the planning board, and there's some controversy with the planning board and the Board of Health about the drainage system, but we have not been involved in it. I've just sort of heard it secondhand.
Yeah, the reason I asked, John, and this is all right for public consumption, I got a call from the Board of Health asking if we impose some conditions on that project relative to requiring a detention pond, because the Board of Health.
We have not reviewed it. We gave them no direction at all whatsoever on their stormwater system, and they have not filed with us. So that's all on them.
All right, because according to the Board of Health, the representatives from the project said that we as a commission required a detention pond, and I of course said I haven't heard it yet, and I suggested that would be impossible for us to impose any conditions on a project that we haven't heard.
Correct.
Okay. Just wanted to sort of set the record straight in case people need to see it in public.
Right.
All right. So, is there anything else?
Yeah, where'd my picture go?
We miss seeing your picture, Ed. Okay. Therefore, rather than waste time, would anyone like to adjourn the meeting? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Hey, second.
Is it debatable? Anyone want to debate it? Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes, I am here.
And the chair votes with enthusiasm. Yes. All right. Have a good evening, everyone. All right. Thank you and good evening.
Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you all and good night.
Good night, everyone.
Take care, folks. Stay healthy.